This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Targeted, intimidated, and their businesses up in flames. A string of recent alleged extortions has some business owners fearing for their safety. They say they're being asked to pay protection money, and when they refuse, businesses are torched in retaliation. They want more done to catch those responsible before someone dies. CBC's Mike Arsenault reports.
Early Tuesday morning, two masked men walked into Logan Convenience in Winnipeg. One immediately starts pouring what appears to be gas on the floor. The other points a gun at the employee. They force him out of the store, and seconds later, they light it on fire. This is the latest in a string of fires plaguing convenience stores and restaurants across the city. A group of businesses who have been impacted are banding together and say they're the victims of threats, extortion, and arson. The group says the incidents all start in a similar way.
You know, they didn't say like extortion, but they said like you have to pay protection money. Like your business will be targeted if you don't pay money. It took maybe 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden other people started saying, hey, I've heard the same thing.
CBC isn't naming anyone from the group because the people impacted are scared of retaliation. The group says when they refuse to pay the protection money, their businesses get set on fire. And what happened at Logan Convenience makes that clear.
They didn't care less about the cash register. They clearly were sent in there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to burn that place down.
The group believes they know who's extorting them and want police to act on it before the violence escalates.
What is it going to take? Like, at some point, maybe someone gets killed, maybe someone gets stuck in one of these businesses when it's burning. If you know that these individuals are involved, you've already got them on camera doing certain jobs, put the pressure to them.
Winnipeg Police Services Inspector Jen McKinnon says even though all the fires appear to be related, they may not be.
There's different methodology on how these actual fires are set that tell us that there are differences between who's doing them.
McKinnon says police aren't always transparent about arson investigations because they're complex and lengthy, and divulging too much detail could negatively impact the case.
We are aggressively working together to come to a resolution, and I'm confident that we'll be giving you some answers down the road.
The group says some businesses don't want to reopen because they're concerned the extortion will continue. Some have even moved out of province out of concern for their safety. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, the city says it's taking steps to crack down on arson. Officials say they're working on coordinated prevention, enforcement, and investigations. They're focusing on high-impact areas, inspecting and securing vacant buildings while clearing illegal dumping and debris. In the first 9 months of this year, police investigated 177 arsons in Winnipeg. 23 people have been charged, and officers say some are responsible for several fires. Work on a section of Portage Avenue has become a source of frustration for drivers and business owners. Delays on construction work means it will have to be finished next spring. CBC's Felicia Adam has more.
Traffic was flowing and crews were slowly opening up lanes on Portage Avenue on Friday. But earlier in the week, it looked different. Cars were stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, some leaving the main road to find other ways home.
You couldn't come in this way, so you had to drive all the way to Ronald and then come back.
Leaving business owners like Eric Fouillard bearing the brunt of it for months.
I've probably seen a drop of traffic within the store by probably about 10%.
Fewer customers meant Fouillard was forced to lay off staff and cut hours.
Why is it taking so long when we were promised that, maybe 2 months?
Construction on Portage Avenue between Surgeon Road and Cavalier Drive started mid-summer, fixing roads, curbs, and sidewalks on both sides of Portage.
Major congestion. It would just be backed up traffic that could sometimes take 30, 40 minutes to get through.
Chris Shea is the general manager of ACR Auto Glass. He says the construction has impacted his customers.
The loss of their time, right? It's taking longer to bring their vehicle in for service, or taking longer or more time away from work to come and pick that vehicle up, that sort of thing.
Construction was supposed to be done by the end of this year, but the city says recent rain slowed work, pushing the deadline to next year.
I think it should have been started sooner.
Janice Lukes is the chair of the Public Works Committee. She says projects like these are given 74 days, but a late start played a part in contractors not meeting deadlines.
I think that it's a big undertaking. I think maybe one year we should have done one direction, and then the other year we should have done the other direction.
Construction is expected to start again next spring. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
It's one of the leading causes of lung cancer, and Winnipeggers now have a way to test for it at home for free. Radon screening kits are now available at public libraries. The city says you can borrow it like a book. Radon is colorless, odorless, and tasteless radioactive gas that is in the city's soil. Nearly half of Manitoba homes have elevated levels of it. 165 lung cancer deaths per year are attributed to the radioactive gas.
Swan River, Dauphin, Brandon, also Morden and Winkler area have significant number of homes that are above the guideline, but it doesn't mean that there's areas of the province that doesn't have it. Every city, every location in our province needs to test.
Now, the kits will be available at city libraries for 3 weeks in November and April when radon levels are typically at their highest. A new provincial report says Manitoba needs to better prepare for the proliferation of artificial intelligence. The report says the province needs its own information technology infrastructure. Premier Wab Kinew says this is about data sovereignty, which means keeping sensitive information on a server on Canadian soil.
How do we keep your privacy so that our kids and grandkids will be able to develop as individuals and have that freedom to express themselves in a way that is truly free in the future of our society? Well, it probably means that we should stop sending all of our information south of the border.
Kinew says Manitoba has enough electrical capacity to run a data center. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays are one win away from making history. A win tonight would make them World Series champs, not only bringing the title back to Canada, but doing it on Canadian soil. And anticipation is building across the country. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has more.
The Toronto Blue Jays are one win away from their first World Series title in over 3 decades. Jays fans in Winnipeg hope Friday will be the night the team gets it done.
I'm very optimistic. I think they're back in Toronto. They've had a day of rest, so I think that they have a very good chance of winning it tonight. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Like, we've been waiting 30 years for it, right? So, like, yeah, it's awesome.
Sean Fair admits this playoff run has converted him into a hardcore fan. He picked up a Jays jersey a few weeks ago and stayed up through 18 innings until 2 in the morning to watch the end of Game 3 earlier in the week.
There were lots of friends that are really huge Toronto fans. Some of them are from Toronto, so they got me really on that bandwagon. I said, okay, I'm all in now.
O'Donuts has gotten in on the fun with this Blue Jays donut.
I think it connects us all. Like, sports isn't my thing, but I definitely see how it connects multiple different kinds of people, you know, through food or through, you know, sports and fun and games and parties. And
there's been a big appetite for the sweet treats.
Yeah, we sell out every day. And I think we had an order for 7 dozen of them on Tuesday, so they're going.
The sports bar Underdogs is gearing up for the big game, too.
We have 50 heads. So the front is almost full, and then, yeah, we'll be full in the back for sure.
Winnipeg will also be represented at the big game. Winnipegger David Grenon, also known as Solbert, will sing "O Canada."
So exciting, and I'm so proud to represent our community from Winnipeg and my hometown, Chibougamau, as well, in the World Series.
And playing part in what many hope will be a historic night for an entire country. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, Riley, give us that game day forecast.
You know, it has been slightly cooler than seasonal in parts of southern Ontario. We've been looking at temperatures today around 6-7 degrees across parts of Ontario because of a trough in the jet stream. Pretty similar conditions actually in our province here. We have seen a little bit of clearing as we've gotten through the later afternoons. And you can see in the southern Interlake here, a couple little specks, couple little stray showers. I know we did see a couple moments where we did see a few raindrops here in Winnipeg as well across the rest of the province under a mainly cloudy sky as expected, some sunny breaks in there. Temperatures, very seasonal for this time of the year. 5 degrees in Portage, Morden Winkler, Steinbach, Dauphin, 4 degrees in Brandon, at the freezing mark in Churchill this afternoon. Looking at temperatures across the south, around or just below the freezing mark overnight tonight. Inside the city, around 0. Wouldn't be surprised if we drop down to -1 or -2 overnight. Looking at a partly cloudy sky first thing in the morning. We'll get some clearing through the overnight hours, and then we're back into some sunshine again as we get through the afternoon on Saturday. Brittany, some of us getting some rain into the weekend. I'll talk about that when I come back.
All right. Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, from escaping war to building businesses, how some Ukrainians are investing in their future here in Manitoba. More on that when we return. Premier Wab Kinew says Winnipeggers need not be concerned about efforts to find homes for people living in encampments. Kinew says he's still confident in the provincial homeless strategy, despite the resignation of the advisor in charge. CBC's Bartlett Kivas reports.
10 months after Manitoba unveiled its homelessness strategy, the official in charge announced she's moving on to a different but related job. In December, Tessa Blakey-Whitecloud will assume the reins of the Collaborative Housing Alliance, a real estate trust that uses private donations and provincial money to build housing for people who need it.
It's a really exciting opportunity to see what we can do when we pair a private sector investment with what can happen with a public sector, or with a government that's committed to solving chronic homelessness.
Blakey-Whitecloud says she had a good experience working for government. The Premier had nothing but nice things to say as well.
I would love if Tessa had continued to work with us going forward, but to see her at a partner organization still working in alignment, in common cause, to getting people out of tents and into housing units is a positive development too.
Nonetheless, there is frustration about the pace of moving people out of encampments. Blakey-Whitecloud acknowledged that, but said there is no overnight solution.
I was in kindergarten when the federal government of that time cut the National Social Housing Strategy. If we had built at the same level as a nation that we were doing then for all of the years since I graduated kindergarten, we wouldn't be in this deficit.
Winnipeg's mayor said in the statement the housing shortage remains the biggest barrier to reducing homelessness, and said Blakey-Whitecloud will have an impact in her new job. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
They've escaped war. Now they're building businesses. Thousands of people have arrived in Manitoba since Russia's mass invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. Tonight, the CBC looks at how some are investing in their future here in this province. Alana Cole reports.
From an idea to reality.
I like natural fabric.
This is Olha Zolotkova's new showroom in Winnipeg's Exchange District. Her business, a boutique specializing in plus-size clothing for women.
I decided we open small space, cozy space, for connect with women and enjoy fashion.
But this wasn't always part of her plan. Zolotkova landed in Manitoba in 2022, just months after Russia's full-scale attack on Ukraine. Her background is in education, but she didn't speak English then. Now she's working as an educational assistant and building this business.
I'm so excited, a little bit worried about that, but I'm happy because now we have freedom, we have chance start something new.
The province says it's welcomed nearly 30,000 Ukrainians since the start of the war. More than 27,000 health cards have been issued. Neither the province or organizations CBC checked with are tracking how many people have started businesses here. But Zolotkova isn't alone. Vitaly Lebezun has 4 people on staff who've arrived from Ukraine since the war started. He's originally from there, but moved here more than 20 years ago. He helps clients with questions around launching a business, taxes, and payroll. He's seen a steady stream of people looking to get started.
There's a lot of people who came and they had their own businesses, and that's why they want to start here again. And there's a lot of people who maybe did not have businesses but always wanted to, and they're going to start.
This is part of Yulia Okrimenko and her son's journey from Ukraine. Now, Yulia and her husband Serhiy are about to celebrate the first anniversary of Kolo, their Ukrainian gift shop. Almost everything they sell is made by others who left because of war.
I just remember that time. It was hard. And the main goal, we want to help these people, for sure. And if we can help for 50 people, that's good.
For them, this isn't just business, it's community.
Our people are pretty strong, but all of them need to be feeling this support. And that's we try to combine together, you're not alone, we are all together.
Yulia says they're settled here and want to stay.
Already have home here, but I still remember my home there, and when I repeatedly reminded my mind about everything about Ukraine, I start crying because it's like you between 2 countries.
For Olha Zolotkova, there's no easy answer.
Maybe one day when war finish, we visit Ukraine. I don't know. It's so difficult question for right now, because situation in Ukraine worse and worse each day, and I don't know what happened next.
For now, growing her business is part of making Manitoba home. Alana Cole, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, Riley is back in. Big night.
Yes.
Not only is it Halloween, all the kidlets are going to be out there. Also, big Jays game and big weekend too, because it is still fall, which means there are still a number of places to go and fill up your bellies with fall suppers.
Yes, you know what? We're sort of in the dying weeks, I think, of the fall suppers
But
here.
there's time.
There's still lots happening this weekend across the province. Here's a quick sampling of some of them, maybe near, maybe some of them far from where you are, but let's have a look here. One on Saturday, that's happening in Fork River, which is north of Dauphin. And then we've got a bunch that are happening on Sunday from the Southern Interlake, which is happening at the Red Barn in Stonewall, which I think there was one there a couple weekends ago too. Riding Mountain, the community of Riding Mountain along Highway 5. We've also got Minto, Pearson, Oak River happening on Sunday as well. And what you'll notice, especially as we get through the weekend, is the winds featuring quite prominently, but temperatures above seasonal still for this time of the year. You're looking at some of those double digits across the province as we even get through the next couple of days here for some of us. All right, so here's our setup. We've been under a bit of cloud cover here, some scattered showers into some of this as we've gotten throughout the afternoon hours. Still today, high pressure to our south does try to clear us out. So as we get into Saturday, we do get back into more of a sunny pattern to start the day, at least for some of us. I am calling for a mainly sunny sky, at least for Winnipeg, but more of a mix of sun and clouds into the morning. And again, anytime you see some of this cloud cover, there is that chance that we run into a few isolated or some scattered showers throughout the day. There's that sunny spot, and then we get into a bit more cloud cover into Sunday, and then another low pressure system starts to push in from Saskatchewan. This one having more of an impact across western and central parts of the province. Think Swan River, Norway House, Grand Rapids, the Northern Interlake, bound to get some of this rainfall as well as we get through the day on Sunday. Slim chance of showers along some of this into the Red River Valley along this frontal boundary that does push through. Does warm things up a bit as we get through the day on Sunday, but yes, there's that chance of a shower. On the back side of this, as it pushes off into Ontario, the chance of maybe a couple centimeters of snow in northeastern Manitoba. And then as we get back into Monday, high pressure starts to come in again and starts to clear us out. So a bit of an unsettled weekend for some of us, and where we don't see rain, you're likely going to be impacted by a bit of wind through the weekend, which I'll talk about in just a second here. Looking at about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain for narrow part of Manitoba. We are looking at winds as we get through the weekend, looking at gusts up to 40 as we get through into the afternoon hours. On Saturday, picking up, could see some gusts even up to 50 as we get through Sunday into Monday morning. Temperature-wise, into the morning, looking at just below the freezing mark for the west, -1 in Dauphin, -2 in Brandon, on the freezing mark in Winnipeg. And then a look at your long range. Here we go, 10 degrees into Sunday. Don't forget about that time change on the weekend. Windy into Monday, Brittany at 9 degrees, and looking at temperatures stabilizing and a bit sunnier by midweek.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Now here's a look at one spooky house in Meadowood. We have more ahead right after this. Stay with us. The Toronto Blue Jays are looking to win it all. They face the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight in Game 6 of the World Series. CBC's Thomas Dagg is at the Rogers Centre.
Well, here we are at Rogers Centre, potentially the site of the Blue Jays' third franchise World Series win. It would only be the second time ever that the World Series would be won on Canadian soil. It is Game 6 of this World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Fans have been lining up outside the stadium for hours, either because they want to get their hands on that World Series merchandise, perhaps before the series is over, or simply to get the best spot in the general admission sections of this stadium on this historic night. Fan excitement is through the roof.
It's electric. It's indescribable. Like, everybody's just totally amped up.
I was hoping that maybe one of the staff thought I actually was Davis Schneider and just let me in to get started on warming up, but no such luck.
In 1993, we saw everybody flood out on the streets, jumping on cars. The spirit is here, and I think we're going to do it.
Now, this is the same pitching matchup tonight as we saw in Game 2 here at Rogers Centre. The Los Angeles Dodgers sending Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has been so strong in the postseason, pitching back-to-back complete games. He will look for a third straight postseason complete game, if you can imagine that. He really had his way with the Blue Jays in Game 2, keeping them to one run through 9 innings. Kevin Gausman being sent to the mound, the veteran ace for the Blue Jays. He's also had a very good postseason, but the Jays ended up, of course, losing that Game 2, looking for continued momentum tonight after 2 wins on the road in Los Angeles, looking to clinch the World Series tonight. Here's Jays manager John Schneider speaking before tonight's game.
You know, I think that we've done a good job of adjusting against good pitchers when we see them again. He's tough, man.
Now, clearly, the Blue Jays have done away with any perception that they are the underdogs. Remember, at the very start of the World Series, there was this talk of David and Goliath, the Jays being David, the Dodgers being Goliath, and, of course, the reigning World Series champions from last year. But they've done away with that. They're now the odds-on favorites to win the World Series. The question is, will the series be done tonight or tomorrow? If the Jays lose, the Dodgers force a Game 7 here at Rogers Centre on Saturday night. Either way, if the Jays can clinch this at home, you can bet fans will be spilling out into the streets and celebrating all night. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
The Prime Minister is calling it a turning point in Canada's relationship with China, meeting with the President for a one-on-one and accepting an invitation to visit. Rafi Boudjikanian is traveling with the PM.
A handshake with a country where a cold shoulder has been the norm for years.
Our countries have a long history of cooperation, engagement, and trade. 55 years of diplomatic relations marked the anniversary 2 weeks ago. In recent years, we have not been as engaged.
There has been no formal sit-down between a Canadian leader and Chinese President Xi Jinping since 2017, and plenty of clashes between Beijing and Ottawa since. The Canadian Parliament has accused China of genocide for its treatment of its minority Uyghur population. And in January, a public inquiry into foreign interference concluded Beijing was the main state actor interfering in 2 recent Canadian elections. Xi congratulated Carney on his recent election victory, also saying he wants to work with Canada to re-establish relations.
I don't think there's a prime minister out there who would have been in a position to have some kind of a reset of the relationship immediately.
This observer says enough time has passed for the 2 countries to start talking again.
For Canada, the imperative to diversify our trading relationships on quite an urgent basis is there, since the arrival of the Trump administration.
For the Prime Minister, meanwhile, this is just the start.
We now have a turning point in the relationship, a turning point that creates opportunities for Canadian families, for Canadian businesses, and Canadian workers.
Carney has also accepted an invitation from Xi to China himself at what the Prime Minister's office calls a mutually convenient time. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Gyeongju.
For more than a year, the Fifth Estate has been investigating murders in Dawson Creek, BC. It's a small city with a murder rate 14 times the national average. Despite RCMP promises to make arrests, More than a dozen of those cases remain unsolved. And as Mark Kelly tells us, the killing continues.
This is the slow dance of death in Dawson Creek. The RCMP's forensic team and another victim, another suspicious death, another grieving family. In the past 4 years, the town of 12,500 people has seen a bloody wave of unsolved murders. The Fifth Estate has been investigating who is killing who and why. Adam Isley followed an oil and gas boom to Dawson Creek, a boom that's transformed the local economy. He was found murdered 2 years ago after descending into a life of drugs. His family has no answers about who killed him or why, just that his death was brutal.
They said you couldn't have an open casket.
They wouldn't want to see.
It would be too disturbing. It's not just drugs that are flooding the community, so too are illegal weapons. Aaron Linklater says he's been dealing drugs in Dawson Creek for the past 30 years.
The minute you put a gun into a fetal alcohol Down syndrome kid who's never had to earn a penny in his life, but he's fought from every corner he's ever been in, and he has no chance and never did, you get the worst criminality. You get crazy, crazy criminality.
Weeks after this interview, Linklater was found dead. Statistics Canada measures the number of serious crimes reported to police. This is the national average. Dawson Creek's is 3 times higher. And there's a lingering fear here that speaking to the RCMP can get you hurt or worse. One serial offender changed his profile picture to this. Charged with attempted murder, the case was dropped when a key witness failed to testify. What message do you think this picture sends people in the community?
Well, it's obviously a direct threat. It appears to be a direct threat.
With more than a dozen unsolved murders, there's a growing fear in Dawson Creek the suspected killers are walking free in the community. But the RCMP says believing someone is guilty and proving it are two different things, pleading with the public, once again, for patience. Mark Kelly, CBC News, Dawson Creek.
To boost energy or beat a hangover, some Canadians are hooking up to IV therapy. But researchers warn there's little regulation and big potential health risks. The CBC's Lauren Pelly has more.
Social media is filled with ads for intravenous therapy, cocktails of vitamins and supplements that cost hundreds of dollars and get injected right into someone's veins.
The growth that you're seeing probably is in part because there is so little regulatory oversight.
This researcher studied the booming business of IV therapy south of the border. He found less than a third of clinics required consultation with a licensed medical professional before treatment or described the potential health risks.
If consumers are going to go off and use these, particularly often without their doctors even knowing that they're using these, we have to make sure that the safeguards are in place that nobody gets hurt.
The risks can include potential cross-contamination, adverse reactions, or even serious infections.
Good morning. Good morning.
At this wellness center in Mississauga, team members told us they adhere to strict safety standards for their IV offerings, including a sterile environment, patient exams, and vital checks. But this naturopath says one customer told her she passed out during a session at a different facility after being given a partially frozen IV bag.
This really concerns us as providers of this treatment because it can be very dangerous for the patient.
Across Canada, CBC News found private IV clinics often fall into a regulatory gray zone, similar to the U.S. Health Canada authorizes intravenous health products, while a patchwork of provincial watchdogs monitor workers, such as naturopaths, physicians, or registered nurses. Only some regulators actually inspect the clinics directly.
Unfortunately, I think these IV clinics, they're falling through the cracks.
One of Canada's top experts on health and wellness trends says the bigger issue is there's often no evidence backing up claims about health benefits.
I think that these products should be viewed as a major red flag.
Doctors told us if you're sick, seek medical advice. And if you're healthy, there's typically no need for any type of intravenous therapy. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's tourism industry had a record-breaking summer. New numbers show that hotels, attractions, and tour operators had their busiest season ever. Kyle Bax looks at what's behind the boom.
Up, down, and around the mountains in southwest Alberta, Brent Coinberg has never taken so many travelers on guided tours.
The tourism this summer was really good for me.
We probably quadrupled how many tours we did and how many people we took through.
Business was booming, with nearly half of his customers from abroad. He's not alone, as it was a banner year across the country. New figures from Destination Canada estimate record high revenue for the tourism industry this past summer, nearly $60 billion, up 6% compared to last year, with most regions in the country experiencing a tourism bump.
We look at a metric called forward bookings, and for the past few months and months before the summertime, we were seeing bookings growing from all of our target international markets and from Canadians who are looking to travel domestically.
Much of the tourism spending in Canada was by Canadians, as many choose to spend their travel dollars at home, fueled by national pride amid a trade war with the U.S. and Donald Trump's threats to annex Canada. Domestic tourism was up 7%. At the same time, revenue from overseas travelers climbed even higher, a 10% jump compared to last summer. One notable drop was from the U.S., a slight decrease of about 2%.
It was down, as we were expecting to see.
Regardless, it will be a summer to remember in the tourism sector and financially providing a much-needed economic boost for the country. Kyle Bax, CBC News, Calgary.
Trick or treat. Here are some spooky scenes on Poplar Avenue as the kids head out this Halloween. We've got much more straight ahead. It is Halloween tonight, of course, and our family, it was anything that could light up, made a really great costume.
Homemade for us.
Right?
Anything homemade.
Exactly. It is a big night for kids and adults as well. There's the costumes, the candies, and some very elaborate plans.
We sent Jim Agapito to Oakenwald School in Fort Garry to ask grade 5s about their plans for Fright Night.
What are you dressing up for Halloween this year?
I'm being a soldier. A skeleton.
Okay, why a skeleton?
Cause I love skeletons. A Minecraft slime.
Can you tell me can you describe for me what that is?
A green cube with a face. Wednesday Addams. It's a black dress with a whole bunch of buttons and a black wig.
Why do you love Halloween so much?
The candy.
Okay, the candy. Break it down for me. What is your favorite candy?
Jolly Ranchers. Gummies.
Why gummies?
Because they look so good. A bunch of full-sized Aero bars. Probably Whoppers or Swedish Fish. Maybe Kit Kats, Hershey bars, like the whole load, the whole thing of it.
So what's the game plan for that night?
Try to get as much candy as we can. Like I'm gonna get a backpack for me. There's gonna be a backpack on my friend maybe. I don't know. And we're just gonna get as much candy. Like 300 pieces.
300 pieces? How many are you gonna eat that night?
Maybe a third of that.
A third of that, so you're gonna eat like 100 pieces.
Yeah.
How much candy do you think you're gonna eat that night?
Not too much, because the second I get home, my mom's gonna be like, 2 pieces of candy, then off to bed, so.
How many do you think you're gonna eat that night?
16.
How long do you want it to last for?
At least till Christmas, then I can last the Christmas candy, maybe get to Valentine's Day. That'll be a short stop, but it'll maybe lead me to St. Patrick's Day, and then I'll get a refresh on Easter, and then that should last me till my birthday. And then over the summer, it's just stuff.
You just told me that you're not going, but what do you want to tell your friends, that are going out? Is there a message you want to tell them?
Yeah.
What's that?
Just stay safe and come back with a lot of candies for me.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Okay, that one kid that had his whole calendar planned out, I love it.
Smart kids.
Very smart kids.
They know what's up.
Do you have a favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, the chocolate bars are always good. And the mini bags of chips.
See, I love
Those
a
are always
caramel
good. Yeah.
a caramel bar. Pretty nice night. No snow, no rain for most of us.
Fairly seasonal. We've had worse Halloweens. I've got the last 10 Halloweens for you here. Just, why not? So, looking at temperatures, today our high in Winnipeg, 5.3 degrees. But, think back a couple of years here. It was a chilly one, minus 4.2 in Winnipeg back in 2023, following that 10.9 in 2022. So really, today, this Halloween, fairly middle of the road for us, weather-wise, I guess. No real snowstorms. We haven't had any huge rainstorms that put a damper on things this year. A couple scattered showers today, but that's about it. I do have pets and costumes to show a little bit later on, so stick around for that. But first, we'll do Feline Friday first. Tonight, we have Penny, who's just chilling out on the balcony, enjoying the last few warm days that we'll have here in the province before the snow starts to fly. Thanks, Angela, for sending this picture in. You can send yours to talkback at cbc.ca. So we're looking at temperatures around the freezing mark first thing in the morning. Wouldn't be surprised if we got down to -1 or -2 in some parts of the city overnight. 5 degrees by the afternoon, looking at 3 by the evening with bit of cloud starting to build in again as we get through the later part of the day on Saturday. Across the province, looking at temperatures closer to -2 or -3 even into western Manitoba, where we'll get a bit more clearing through the overnight hours. Tonight, still a bit of cloud cover acting as a bit of a cushion for us in the Red River Valley and the Interlake, -1 in Gimli, in Peguis, 0 in Winnipeg, Steinbach at -1, -1s into northwestern Ontario, and also looking at temperatures below the freezing mark into the northern part of the province, -4 in Gillam and Shamattawa. A bit of cloud cover starting to push into the province, maybe a few stray flurries or some rain showers through Lynn Lake into Dooley Lake. Very slim chance of that in Thompson as we get through the afternoon tomorrow. And then some sunshine, 4 to 6 degrees through the Pas, OCN, Flin Flon, 5 to 7s through the west. Cloud starts to build in later in the day, so a sunnier start. Then you'll see some of this cloud cover starting to push in. 4 in Ericsdale, Gimli, Pinawa, 6 in Portage La Prairie, 5 in Winnipeg through the afternoon. I'm calling it a mainly sunny sky, but some of that cloud cover will come in and out as we get through the day tomorrow, and a bit cloudy into northwestern Ontario as well. Your 7 days coming up, Brittany.
All right, thanks, Riley.
Welcome.
It's a long-running winter festival that is a favorite of many Manitobans, and now they're sending a call out for help. Festival de Voyageur is just a few short months away, but the organization is hoping to get people looking through their old boxes and drawers and hopefully find some old hidden treasures you wouldn't mind sharing. Colin Mackey is the Director of Heritage and Education Programs and joins me now. Thanks for being here, Colin.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So while next year's festival is coming up in February, you all are hoping to give people a little extra lead time. So what exactly are you looking for?
Well, we're putting on a Festival de Voyageur museum, and we will be doing this up to our 60th in 2029. And we're looking for memorabilia, some artifacts, some souvenirs that people have kept from previous festivals, whether it's merchandise or photos. Maybe you have a picture with your favorite band, or you saw the snow sculpting symposium back in 1984 and you had a favorite sculpture, that kind of thing. So we can showcase our community's memories and how festival has impacted people over the years.
I know that people are going to have so many of those, so there's really a long list of items that people could donate, but are there certain pieces that are maybe of particular interest that you guys know will be really hard to find?
Absolutely. So we're looking really for those unique elements. You know, last year we started a similar program to this, and we went through old boxes of items that we had at our Festival de Voyageur offices here on Provencher, and we dug up all kinds of things we didn't even remember that we had done in the past. So one of those things, just to give an example, would be memorabilia from sports tournaments. So for years, starting in the 70s and into the 80s and early 90s, Festival sponsored, you know, hockey tournaments, basketball tournaments, volleyball tournaments. So if people have ribbons or trophies or things like that, also buttons. Festival is renowned for doing the buttons, and people wear them on their sashes and on their Festival Voyageur capotes. We'd love to see what folks have kicking around. If they have particular memories about the satellite sites that we've done over the years, we call them les relais. If they have information about those, we'd love that too. And like I mentioned before, photos are great. We can scan photos, we can put them up on a screen, and people can remember the days of Festival gone by.
I can only imagine some of the treasures that people are going to find and send in. And I just want to note for people that Festival is not accepting anything that can only be loaned out. Why is that?
Well, so we're preparing sort of a 4-year run for this museum. And so we're dividing it into, like I say, 4 different galleries. So if you want to lend something to us that's really, really important, we can maybe have a discussion of that down the road. But a donation, you might not see it right away. Like you might not see it like this year. We might keep it for another theme down the road. So that's why we're sort of saying, for now, if you have a donation that you'd like to give us of old memorabilia, we'll take that first. And then as we elaborate this plan down the road, if you have something really special that you want to get back, we can have a chat about that. But we also want to make sure that we keep it in good condition. So we don't want to have anything really precious damaged or lost. That's sort of the main idea there.
So you did mention that this will all be showcased at the museum starting this upcoming year, but it is part of that bigger project ahead of the 60th anniversary in 2029. Is there any little tidbit you can share with us about what's planned for that?
Absolutely. So, like I said, leading up to the 60th, we have 3 different themes. So this year, 2026, we'll focus on the arts at Festival de Voyageur. So bands, sculptures, snow sculptures, ice sculptures. Back in the 70s, Festival used to make an ice palace. We're talking about dances, handicrafts. So we've always done demonstrations of, you know, carpentry, of sash weaving, of all kinds of things. Then moving on to the year after that, 2027, we'll look at heritage. So why did the founders of Festival focus on voyageurs? What communities from the voyageur period were involved? So which indigenous communities, Métis communities, early fur trade here in the area. And then in 2028, we'll focus on the community. So the Franco-Manitoban community, our festival goer community, volunteers are a huge part of that and really what keeps Festival going. And of course, our important partners that have been there. And then finally, the 60th, we'll be able to put those elements together, but we're also looking to build on an oral history project so we can document people's stories, how they've experienced the festival over the years, not just from our founders, and we definitely want to keep those stories alive, how the festival came to be, but also, people who have enjoyed coming for the last 60 years. What did they have to share with their experiences? And hopefully people will be able to get a real sense of what this event is about and why we keep coming back to it for 60 years.
Colin, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you very much.
There is much more spooky Halloween straight ahead. Stay with us. Winnipeg City Council has given the green light to extending on-request bus service in residential areas later at night. Currently, the on-request bus operates until 10:15. That's prompted complaints from riders, including night shift workers trying to get home. Starting in December, buses will go until 2 a.m. on 10 of Transit's 12 on-request zones. The mayor says some tweaks have been made to the transit network since it was overhauled this summer.
One of the matters we heard from the public the most on, and from councillors, was the people needed that late night service into their residential area. And so that's something immediately we've all been working to address.
Gillingham says he's glad transit is finding ways to accommodate the need for later buses.
All right, time for a look at your 7-day forecast. Brittany convinced me to get dressed up, so in the commercial, I can't actually see what I'm doing, but I found the invisibility cloak out in the closet. So there you go, the magic of television there. I actually have to see what I'm doing here. Maybe a few showers into the day on Sunday, 9 degrees for Monday. We get a bit of cloud, extra cloud into the day on Tuesday, and then we are staying fairly seasonal till the end of the week. And then I've got a chance of some rain or some snow as we get toward the end of next week here. Okay, I have some pictures I want to show you. These are folks who sent in their pets, all dressed up for the season. If you have to look closely here from Monroe in the curtains there. 2 more. One, Vincent Price, dressed as a pumpkin. Thank you, Shanna. And Lola, dressed up as Dracula. Thank you for sending those in. Halloween is nothing special for most Europeans, but a cafe owner in Athens is so excited about the holiday. It's spooky.
His cafe is chock full of elaborate pumpkins, skeletons, and witch displays. Here's the Halloween edition of your Daily Lift. Okay, he started working on the design of the display months in advance, and 10 people spent a week setting it up. When the cafe first boasted Halloween decorations 10 years ago, locals were confused.
In Greece, the closest thing to the holiday is a springtime religious festival in which people wear costumes. But an influx of foreign residents and tourists have created awareness of Halloween, and it's scary how popular the cafe has become.
Love it. And thank you for being such a good sport.
I have to do something.
Happy Halloween. We hope you have a wonderful and safe night. We'll see you back here next week.
See you Monday.